I was just scrolling around, hunting for some weird game I hadn't seen before. And then boom, this thing pops up. Dark angels, undead warriors, demons with flaming swords. It looked like someone took a heavy metal album cover, dipped it in nightmares, and turned it into a strategy game. I asked my dad, "Do you know this one?" And he just stared at me for a moment, like a war veteran remembering the old days. Then he told me how he spent countless hours playing it, how he dreamed someone would make a movie out of it, about the mood, the music, the art, the feeling. And honestly, I totally get it now. Today, we're peeling back the crypt door on a forgotten gem. A strategy game so dark, so gothic, so weirdly poetic. It feels like someone makes Heroes of Might and Magic, Black Sabbath, and The Black Company by Glenn Cook. This is the story of Disciples. Okay, so for anyone who hasn't heard of it, Disciples is a series of dark fantasy turn-based strategy games. The first one, Disciples, Secret Lands, came out in 1999, developed by Strategy First. It introduced 4 factions: the noble but failing apart Empire, the stubborn mountain clans, the corrupted legions of damned, and the creepy undead hordes. This wasn't shiny fairytale fantasy. It was rotten, bleak, and gothic as hell. Like if Tim Burton and Cradle of Filth made a strategy game together. So how does it play? Think of it like chess with mood swings. You move heroes and armies across a map, capture resources, and level up units in turn-based battles. But here's the twist. Units evolve. That basic skeleton archer you start with, give him some wins, and soon he's a death god in a cloak. And the choices matter. Once you pick a unit's upgrade path, you're locked in. It adds this weird emotional weight to every battle. Each faction has its own flavor. Empire leans on healing and holy buffs, undead overwhelm and revive, legions burn and curse everything, dwarves are slow, tanky, and hit like trucks. Outside of combat, you manage your capital city, build structures, unlock upgrades, and recruit units to keep the enemies out. It's strategic, tactical, and somehow personal. And the sound? Oh my god. Every groan, hit, and spell blast feels like gothic ASMR.
As you order.
But the real masterpiece came in 2002. Disciples 2, Dark Prophecy, was where everything came together. Same grim world, but now with hand-painted art, upgraded gameplay, and deep faction campaigns.
More than a decade has passed since the first great wars ended. When infernal beasts and demons poured forth from the ground, the human empire did their best to resist the unholy onslaught. Alas, the beloved queen was killed, and Uther, the sole heir, disappeared from the realm.
Yeah, it's so epic, you won't wanna skip it. You'll wanna sit back, listen, and feel every word. Most characters were drawn by hand first, like actual illustrations, then scanned and layered digitally. Each faction had its own story-driven campaign, with gods, betrayals, politics, and world-ending prophecies. Many fans and gamers said it didn't feel like playing a game. It felt like reading an ancient war chronicle set to dark ambient music. And yeah, they were kinda right.
Thou asked? Attack!
In that meeting.
Fast forward to 2009, Disciples 3 Renaissance promised a fresh new start, a shiny new 3D engine, beautiful battlefields, and a modern UI. And on paper, it sounded great, but in practice, it was a disaster. Can't do anything, it bugged! What do I do? Buggy at launch, huge balance issues, important systems missing or oversimplified, and worst of all, it felt like it didn't understand its own identity. The dark, painterly aesthetic was replaced by generic fantasy visuals. The tension and grit were gone. Combat animations dragged on forever. Exploration felt clunky and lifeless. Unit evolution system? It was there, kind of, but watered down and awkward. Even expansions like Resurrection and Reincarnation tried to fix things, but the damage was done. It wasn't a rebirth, it was a funeral, just with more polygons.
The hour of judgment has come.
Then, in 2021, something unexpected. Disciples Liberation, a full reboot by a new developer, Prima Studio, and a completely different direction. Gone were the tactical grid battles and capital cities. In their place, a fully voiced protagonist, party-based combat, dialogue trees, open region exploration, and a semi-linear RPG campaign. It was ambitious and honestly well made. The UI was clean, the world was polished, the system actually worked. But for longtime fans, it felt like a completely different franchise. The art was more clean fantasy than grimdark, the tone lighter, and the signature Disciples mechanics, evolution, capital building were mostly gone. It wasn't bad, it just wasn't Disciples. I actually really liked this part. It pulled me in. I was into the story and everything felt good. But there's just one thing that stuck out for me. Not all the dialogue is voice acted. At first, you're listening, getting into it, feeling the characters, and then suddenly, silence. You have to read. And for me, that kinda kills the vibe. It's a small thing, but yeah, that's just my personal opinion.
Die today. Rally, troops.
So, why does Disciples still matter? Because even if the series stumbled and got lost, that spark, that atmosphere, that strange gothic soul, it lives on, especially in Disciples 2. It proved that strategy games don't have to be bright and heroic. They can be dark, philosophical, hopeless, and still incredibly fun. It didn't try to copy Heroes of Might and Magic, it carved its own cursed path. It felt like diving into a forgotten myth, like reading a war-torn epic in a cursed library, like staring at a painting that stares back. And seriously, why has anyone made a Disciples Netflix series yet? Where's the Black Company style adaptation full of doom angels, undead kings, and demon gods? Because fans, we'd go feral for that. So yeah, that's what I found digging through the archives. A strategy game that felt like poetry wrapped in darkness. If you've ever played Disciples, let me know, what is your favorite faction? Empire, demons, undead? Or the angry dwarfs with terrifying eyebrows? And if you haven't, maybe now's the time to try. You can still grab Disciples on GOG or Steam. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you want to support our deep dives into forgotten game legends, you'll find the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. Stay legendary, don't trust elves, and as always, loot it. Bye guys!